No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
Gonna hang on. I'm pressing the play button. Things are happening left, right, and center. I can't hang on, Dave. I was up till 1:45 in the morning this morning, I guess, watching that 18-inning thriller.
And it was only you, Drew, that was up. Nobody else was up watching it.
You weren't. I can assure you of that. Dave and I were up.
100% I was up. What are you talking about?
No chance. You stayed up till 1:45 to watch the end of the game last night?
I did.
I'm shocked. You weren't active on social media. Nothing. You were sitting there silent, and I'm shocked to hear this. I thought you were
because people really care what other people have to say about the Jays game on social media. Like there's a lot of great takes on there.
Well, the best takes come out at 1:30 in the morning when everyone's delirious. That's when everything's the funniest. You know. In any event, we're here. We're live. We're starting. Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we welcome you to the Illegal Curve post-game show. It's ugly. They didn't play very well. The deserved win-o-meter, as Dave likes to reference, would not be in favor of the Winnipeg Jets. Yet, somehow, some way, they pull out another victory. This one in overtime, the first game to go to extra time this season. 4-3, the Jets defeat the Minnesota Wild tonight in St. Paul, Minnesota. 9 victories in a row by the Winnipeg Jets over the Wild of Minnesota. There's a lot to break down in this game. It was a weird game. These two teams can't play a normal game. It just seems like they're incapable of playing a normal game. Every goal, except for the overtime winner, maybe the Jets tying goal as well, was a bit of a weird one. There were plenty of weird goals, in tight deflections, bounces off the glass, off the pad, off the knee, all sorts of weird things happening in St. Paul tonight. But from the Winnipeg Jets fans' perspective, it's a beautiful result on the scoreboard. The Jets winning 4-3 tonight over the Wild, Ezzy.
Yeah, the Jets really have the Wild's number right now because they could have easily been up a couple goals after 2 periods. The second period was not good, as we'll get into in the Play Now game recap. But, the Jets stayed in the fight, so to speak, right, and tied up the game. And, I thought the Niederreiter-Nyquist line was actually pretty invisible for the most of the game. So it's kind of funny, not ironic, but kind of funny that they ended up getting the tying goal, and we thought it was Nyquist's goal, but they each got a piece of it. So originally Kevin Sawyer on the broadcast said Nyquist, who obviously makes the good middle of the ice net drive, right? But a couple of quick goals, they got out to the lead, but then in the second period it kind of all fell apart. I just thought it was sloppy out of the Jets zone tonight, really having trouble with their zone exits. I'm sure you guys talked about it last game versus the Mammoth. They were struggling to get the puck out of their own zone, but so many turnovers tonight, guys. And obviously we'll get into some of them, but just not playing well in your own zone, and a game in which it was played at the majority of 5-on-5. And I thought the Wild had the Jets number, even though they don't end up getting the win, obviously. But there's a lot to like about the fact that you came back down a goal in the third period. But I also think you don't like the fact that you were caved in for big chunks of tonight by the Wild. And give the Wild credit. I mean, they're an aggressive forechecking team. They've got a lot of talent out there. And, even though they've lost 9 in a row to the Jets, I thought they definitely deserved to win tonight.
There's no question about it. I mean, the Jets, again, are we've talked about it on Saturday morning show. We talked about it on the post-game shows. The Jets are analytically at 5-on-5, one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NHL. I mean, that is what the possession numbers are saying. No, that's not good, in fact. It's the opposite of good. I know sometimes it's easy to get confused. But that is what the 5-on-5 numbers would reflect from the Winnipeg Jets, that they are at the bottom of the league, yet they continue to find ways to get wins. Now, I don't recommend this as a go-forward plan. Adam Lowry is going to return to the Jets lineup this week, next week. I mean, it's imminent. It's clear that it's pretty imminent that he's set to return to the Jets lineup, which will help. I think Dylan Sandberg's return is probably more important than Lowry's, not to diminish Adam Lowry. And I mean, it's hard to totally evaluate the Winnipeg Jets because of the 3 absences from the lineup. But I guess in the with these guys out of the lineup, you have to say, okay, their numbers, their underlying numbers will improve. That would be what I think the optimist would say, is that the underlying numbers would improve. And oh, by the way, the team is still 7-3, Dave, through their first 10 games of this season. It's just a bizarre sort of situation which is in the Jets, especially because tonight this was not power play infused. This was not special teams based tonight's victory. This is 4 even strength goals for the Winnipeg Jets, albeit one in overtime, that lets them lead all with the 2 points.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's any question about it, Drew. I mean, it's not pretty hockey. It's another problematic second period, Ezzy, where you have a good first, you're happy with things, weird bounces. I mean, technically, if you want to look at it from an optimistic perspective, I mean, the Jets did score 6 goals tonight. Connor Hellebuck scored a goal. Luke Shen scored a goal. So the Jets actually scored 6. They only allowed 2 one by the Wild. Yeah. 1 by the Wild. So if you want to look at it from that perspective, I mean, there's definitely a lot to clean up. There's some things that this team needs to work on. Way too loose. Way too loose. I mean, it's not the defensive structure we saw from last year, and you're not going to have the same type of possession, and because you don't have 3 of your key pieces, you're missing Nikolai Ehlers, and you're seeing what sort of impact he has on this team. So, yeah, and again, one thing, they only got burnt once on the power play, but this is the 3rd best power play in the NHL. They're very Jekyll and Hyde in that regard. I think they have the 31st ranked PK.
Yeah. Well, especially when they didn't take any penalties in tonight's game. Yeah. So the Jets really didn't get to work out their power play against that terrible penalty kill that the Wild have.
But look at the bottom line is, okay, so you're getting the wins. You're not playing your brand of hockey. And if anybody thinks that we're wrong in our assessment, don't listen to me. Don't listen to Ezzy. Don't listen to Drew. Listen to the coach. Coach blasted them after the last game. He was pissed because they didn't play the style they needed to play to win the game. So the fact of the matter is that you've got to think from that perspective that they're still not doing it, but ultimately they're 7-3-0. What do we talk about? Get to the end of October. Get to the end of the month.
Yeah.
See where you are with the guys who are injured. We know, again, Scott O'Neill somewhat telegraphed it, I thought, today, where he said, I'll have to make a decision on Lowry next week or in a week. So to me, that kind of signaled that maybe Adam Lowry isn't ready as he necessarily for that Pittsburgh game. Maybe they end up sending him on a conditioning assignment. He did say that was a possibility. So you're treading water. You're more than treading water. You're 7-3-0. You're right there with everybody else. You're beating a division rival. I mean, again, that's an important thing to do, even though it was in overtime. So not ideal the way they got the game done, but they pick up the points.
I think it's interesting what you mentioned, Dave, because I agree with you 100%. You look at the record, 7-3. It's a good record. It's not a good record. It's a solid record, right?
Very
especially
good record.
with Lauer. But the thing is, they could have easily be 5-5. Right? Like that's the thing I'm trying to say here. You look at the Calgary game, they could have lost that game, they could have lost this game, right? So I mean, I'm not being, negative here. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like,
I think we're just being realistic as to, the way the games have gone. These have, the record is much better than the play that the Jets have demonstrated on the ice.
Exactly. And that's why it's kind of tough. It makes it a little bit tough to analyze, because you're looking at some of these games and you're saying, well, the Jets are finding ways to win. Okay, great. But I mean, I don't know, Dave, if you said the first period, they were happy with the first period. I don't know why they would be happy with the first period. They were badly outshot and they allowed way too much even strength offense. Like I didn't think the first period, I didn't think really any of the 3 periods where the Jets won. Like I really think the Jets were lucky to get out of this game with a couple points, right? Like, like I mentioned it earlier, like Drew mentioned there weren't a lot of power plays, but like where, aside from the Scheifele line, Scheifele, Connor, Velarde were out there. They were using their speed. They were creating offense. They could have had, they had some good chances. But there wasn't enough of that. And again, like you take away the 2 goals in 22 seconds and the third period goal, and there was a lot of offense to be, a lot of offense that you could be desired, right?
Yeah.
So again, yes, 7-3 with the 3 guys out is good, but I mean,
Well, that's the
like
question.
again,
I mean,
I don't think the chat is going to disagree with me either. Like, no, this hasn't been an impressive 7-3 start, and
No.
maybe it shouldn't be with Lowry out and Sandberg out and Perfetti out. Maybe you just scratch and claw your way out till you get these guys back, and that's what it's about. But it certainly hasn't been pretty the way they've won some of these games.
And I think that's what the optimist or would say is that, yeah. And, we referenced it at the start of the podcast, the start of the show. 7-3, that's a great record. If you looked strictly in the standings, looked in the win column, looked in the loss column, and said through 10 games you've won 70% of the games, well, that's worth celebrating. And of course, then you peel the onion a little bit and you find out that it's not as pretty as it looked on the outside. But then the same person would say, yes, but you don't have Lowry, you don't have Perfetti, you don't have Sandberg. I mean, and I think that's a fair comment as well. You don't really know what this team is. Right now, this team is a 7-3, is winning 70% of their games by a little bit of smoke and mirrors.
Well, and also, how many good teams have they played? They've played 2 good teams.
Right. That's fine. They have to, the schedule aligns well for them, which is, again, not something that they need to apologize for. That just happens to be the way it was drawn up when the schedule makers did this, 6 months ago. They didn't know if the Jets would be healthy or if the Jets would have guys in or out of their lineup. So they are fortunate in that they haven't had a difficult, roster of opponents for the most part. And the question will become, after they get Lowry back, after Sandberg's back, after Perfetti's back, is if this team is still, bottom of the league in terms of possession metrics, well, then that there is something actually sort of rotten within the Winnipeg Jets and how they're performing. At the same time, if all of a sudden they turn things around, and it's going to take time. You don't go from the 32nd team to, top 10 overnight. It's like having a bad penalty kill for the first month. It almost takes you the entire year to dig out of that. You'll see it's almost, another chapter to the season once the guys get healthy. And then you can sort of evaluate what the Winnipeg Jets are in terms of and where their actual caliber is. Right now in the standings, they are an upper echelon caliber. Right now in the possession metrics, they're a bottom of the barrel caliber team. The truth probably lies somewhere in between, but we won't know that for sure until those 3 guys are back, Dave.
3 guys are back, plus Connor Hellebuck is still the ultimate sort of equalizer and it cleans things up. Generally
he really
speaking,
is, though.
Generally speaking, as when he's not banging pucks in from out of nowhere into his own net. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, I think the truth is that it's very difficult to, although, boys, Morgan Barron is still clamoring for some more opportunity. Rings one off the post, almost gave them a 3-2 lead.
There's been 4 players. There's been 4 players you can rely on almost game in and game out. Scheifele, Connor, Morrissey, and Barron.
No Velarde.
Well, Velarde
I thought
getting
Velarde
better.
was really good tonight.
No, he's getting better, but there were plenty of games in the first, few
he just wasn't scoring goals, but yeah,
where he wasn't as noticeable as Scheifele and Connor and Morrissey and Barron. I think Velarde's improving drastically. So
for sure.
He's on the next cusp right now.
Okay, but I think what it comes down to is that you don't have this collective group. I mean, you've got the young guns trying to figure it out. Parker Ford versus Brad Lambert versus Nikita Chibrikov. I think they're going to give Ford some latitude, I think he didn't do anything to take himself out of the lineup. Morgan Barron, like whether it's a second line or a third line, I think that you need to give him more. He just seems to be going, and it's every game. It's not like, again, he's not scoring 30 goals. And by the way, I mean, he changed it after he scored the OT winner, but I would have been shocked to find out that Vlad Nemestikov was tied with Kyle Connor for the second most goals on the team until, of course, Connor got the game winner. He didn't want to be tied anymore. But so you're getting contributions from those guys. But yeah, you still need, and Nyquist. That's a weird one because, like I said, I watched the replay in slow-mo, and to me it looked like, even though I know Niederreiter's stick was in the foreground and Nyquist was within the background, it didn't look like Niederreiter swiped it, and he pointed at Nyquist like it was his. So maybe he was willing his teammate to get it. But regardless of the who scored the goal, the fact is it was an important one, obviously, to tie the game. But you definitely need more from this team. So I'm of the position, and I think we all are on record if in late October, early October, late September, when you realize kind of the true depth of the injuries that this team had sustained, that if again, you can say the schedule is what it is, but the reality is you have to play the schedule. And if they have a heavy schedule at the end, then they have a heavy schedule at the end. But right now, they have done more than enough to keep themselves where they are, which is in the mix in the Central. And that's all you wanted them to do with those injuries.
Absolutely. Jets victorious tonight 4-3 over the Minnesota Wild in overtime. We welcome everybody again. For those of you just joining us, this is the Illegal Curve post-game show, along with Dave Manouk, along with Ezra Ginsburg. I'm your host, Drew Mandel. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. We do this after each and every Winnipeg Jets game. It is the Illegal Curve post-game show. Let's get into the goal-by-goal recap. It's brought to you by our friends at Play Now.
The Play Now game recap.
From now until April 17th, earn a $5 sports bonus bet. Ooh, it's a mouthful. For each Jets power play goal when you place a qualifying same-game parlay wager on a Winnipeg Jets regular season game. Conditions apply. Bet with Play Now, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Big thanks to our friends at Play Now for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show.
So, boys, we're breaking down the Jays-Dodgers game now, right?
Yeah, we'll get right on to that. The Jays, anyways.
I thought Shane Bieber gave the Jays 6 solid innings.
They needed him to, and he outpitched Shohei today. So, I mean, what more could you ask for from him than that? It's pretty simple. He outpitched Shohei Ohtani, and the Jays, it's now a best of 3. I mean, it's a best of 3, and the Jays will be glad to be
just
in
like
that
the Mariners series, right? Exactly.
Let me tell you, nobody is happier than Kenny Weeb, who's got a ticket to Game 6. So he is
right.
one ecstatic guy who's going to be flying to Toronto and adding something new to his repertoire of amazing games. And I suspect if it does go to Game 7, Weber will somehow weasel his way into Game 7 as well.
He'll burrow his way in there. All of a sudden, he'll replace Joe Piscucci doing stats on the Fox broadcast or something. Who knows how it's going to happen. But yeah, good for Kenny. He'll be at Game 6 in Toronto on what's that going to be? I guess that's going to be Friday night, if my math's correctly. The Jets open the scoring at the 12:16 mark of the first period. Gabe Vilardi, his second of the year. Assist to Mark Scheifele, assist to Logan Stanley. I'm not sure if Logan Stanley is going to win the Art Ross, the Norris, and the Hart, or if it's just the Art Ross and the Norris. Time will tell on that front.
Don't forget the Lester B. Pearson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. He'll get the NHLPA brethren will award him with that as well. The Jets get an early 1-0 lead in that first period. And again, this was a game we all saw the goals. None of them were what you would describe as particularly pretty. The Connor one in overtime notwithstanding, they were all mucky goals. And it was a mucky game. And these two teams do not like each other, and they play a bit of an aggressive physical style. So it's no wonder that all the goals, short of the Kyle Connor goal, really came from the blue paint or next to the blue paint, as close to being in the back of the net a player could be before the puck would get there as well. Vilardi is on the side of the goal here, getting his second assist, like I said, to Scheifele and Stanley. Traffic galore in front of Gustafsson on this one. And Vilardi gets the tip on the redirection of the Scheifele shot to give the Jets the 1-0 lead. 12 minutes and 16 seconds into the first period, Ezzy.
Yeah, Drew, the word that you used that I think is very apropos about tonight's game is mucky.
Mucky.
It really
good word, eh?
Yeah. Kind of made me think of former NHLer Bill Muckalt. Remember him? That's kind of who I thought of when you said mucky. Or maybe John Muckler as well.
Yeah.
Mucky, right?
Mucky, yeah.
Yeah, it was a net front game, right? There was a lot of shots, a lot of traffic in front, and I really like the work that the Scheifele line does here, just kind of pursuing the puck. Scheifele does some good work here along the boards to come out from the puck with a couple of wild players, and then it's put on net, and it's kind of a double tip situation, and Vilardi's just there, and it's a rebound, and he just puts it in, right? Like that's his office, right? That's Gabe Vilardi's office, right, Dave? And again, it's not a pretty goal. But, you get a little sustained pressure, you go to the net, you get a goal. And obviously the big thing here is that the Jets followed it up with a goal 22 seconds later.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. Thank you for just, sort of leading me into that one, as he did take the Jets. They go bang, bang, as our good friend D. Bayak would say. I just call him D now, by the way. It's too much.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Dennis.
He said he sent me a text that said, just call me D from now on.
Well, it's better than calling him Kelowna Dennis.
That's true. 2-0. Vlad Nemesnikov, Dave, you mentioned it, that he's up to 4 goals on the year already. 4 goals in the first 10 games. That's some good production from the Winnipeg Jets. Middle 6 winger. I guess he's a winger in tonight's contest. Assist to Neil Pionk and Logan Stanley. Stanley up to 4 assists. Another multi-point game for Logan Stanley tonight. And again, nothing particularly pretty. The Jets go and retrieve a puck, and Jonathan Taves sends it back to Logan Stanley over to Pionk, and Pionk just throws it towards the net, and Vlad Nemesnikov and Alex Iafallo are causing chaos next to Gustafsson. Who the defenders there, I believe, are Brock Faber, Marco Rossi, I think, is also in the picture there, and the Jets, wingers just out-muscle and outwork, I'm going to say, out-position at least, the Wild players, and Nemesnikov is able to deflect it past Gustafsson. The Jets have a 2-0 lead shortly after the halfway mark of the first period. Good performance by the Jets again. Probably what Scott Arniel was looking for from the team after he was disappointed with their effort on Sunday against the Utah Mammoth. And the Jets have that 2-0 lead after 20 minutes, Dave.
Yeah, and really got to credit Alex Iafallo, right? Because he doesn't get an assist on this play, but he basically takes out 2 Wild and gives Nemesnikov just a little bit of time and space to get open. And Nemesnikov was in there mucking it up. Mucking, I like that word, Drew, so I'll use it as well. And but I like the play by Iafallo. It's always those plays that are a little unheralded that you don't get an assist for, but require some sort of notice or mention, because they are critical in terms of having that as he checks his notes to make sure I'm right. But yeah, it was a real nice play by Alex Iafallo to kind of tie up 2 of those Wild guys and allow Nemesnikov to get it going. And you kind of thought to yourself, I'm with Ezzy. To make it clear, I didn't think the Jets dominated this game by any stretch of the imagination, even in the first. I just thought that they had a much worse second period than they did the first. But at one point they were being outshot heavily in the first period as well. So not the best in that regard. But the fact is, you have a 2-0 lead, and you're feeling good about the game, because you're like, yeah, do we on the deserve to win a meter right now? Which I don't, own the copyright to, but on that sort of thing, it's a function of you don't really believe that necessarily you do. But at the end of the day, you look up at the scoreboard and it says 2-0 for your team. You're not really, as you say, as Gabriel Velarde said when he was asked about the Calgary Flames struggles, they're not. We just lost Drew Mandel. The Dave Minuk and Ezra Ginsburg experience. All right, Ezra, you're not planning on leaving me, are you?
No, absolutely not. And Dave, you mentioned I was checking my notes. The reason why I was checking my notes was just to confirm. I wanted to make a note of, before Nemesnikov got that goal to put the Jets ahead 2-0, Aiden Fleury makes a really nice defensive play. He blocks, I think it was Vinny Hinostroza.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, it was the third line. That third line is Ryan Hartman, Vinny Hinostroza, and Marcus Foligno. So it was either Hinostroza or Foligno. If you remember, Hayden Fleury slides down and blocks the shot. And I just wanted to mention that because, look, Hayden Fleury and Luke Shen struggled tonight. I mean, there's no way around that. Obviously, we'll get into the struggles when we talk about the Wild goals. But I just wanted to make a mention of that Fleury came up with a big block, and then the Jets went back up down. I think that was before the second goal, if I'm not mistaken. It was either before the first goal or the second goal, but I'm pretty sure, based on my notes here, that it was before the Nemesnikov goal. So I just wanted to get that in there. Like you say, Dave, we always kind of just break down the goals, and this one's not exactly a beautiful goal. The first 2 goals were not pretty goals. I mean, let's be honest. I think aside from the overtime winner, none of the goals were really that nice. No. So yeah, I thought Hayden Fleury deserves again, he doesn't get an assist on the goal, but a big block that eventually led to the Jets' second goal.
And look, this was a game, and I don't know if there was a concert there recently. I know that the Minnesota Wild have played a bunch of games at home, but because they had I believe they played back-to-back. But the fact of the matter is that the puck was bouncing as not like I've ever seen before, to be honest with you. It was again, there were so many bizarre bounces in this game, and the Wild were definitely the beneficiaries of some home ice bounces, that's for sure, because I guess I'm taking over hosting responsibilities since Mindell has left us. But
he just texted us, by the way, Dave. He's saying internet issues.
Oh, internet issues. Alrighty. Well, that's fine. And then I'll take over responsibility of the hosting.
Again, I've been telling Drew, you got to pay your bills.
No,
you got to pay Shaw.
What you should have said, Ezzy, is Drew, you really should be wired in, just like the rest of us. We always wire in, even though I'm not wired in right now. But
I don't wire in specifically just to spite Drew.
Of course, 100%.
And that's right. You can choose to not wire in out of spite. That's a valid reason.
Absolutely. Spite is always a reason for things, Ezzy. But anyways, the Jets, before the end of the first period, we should mention, talking about bounces and opportunities, Cole Koepke makes a really nice play at the wild line, blue line. Then he goes in and makes a nice play, tries to get around Gustafsson, doesn't bury his chance. But then the crazy part was the Wild somehow go down the ice, and Hayden Fleury, speaking of Hayden Fleury, kind of makes a bit of a miscue here. And what's one thing I think the Jets D is allowing, they're giving away positioning way too easily, I think. And usually speed isn't an issue for Hayden Fleury, but he loses the inside position, and as a result, the Wild get a chance, and that puck is sitting there, and they can't put it. I don't remember which Wild player, Ezzy, maybe you do, at the end of the first, who had that chance, but they can't.
When the puck went along the blue line, and it was Morrissey was there.
No. That was in the second period. Yeah,
that was Joel Eriksson-Ek.
Yeah, this is in the first period where the puck was basically sitting there, and after Hellebuck Fleury had kind of crashed into Hellebuck, and the puck was sitting there. Someone shot it wide, doesn't matter. But I think Joe Smith, who covers the Wild, he mentioned who it was. I can't remember the name, but the point was that the Jets were escaped after 20 minutes with a 2-0 lead. Journey for Beginners is enjoying the Ezzy and Minuk experience. And if you're enjoying the Ezzy and Minuk experience, sans Drew, lots of mic time for me and Ezzy, we're loving it. Smash that like button. Let us know how much you're enjoying having just a little.
Let us know if you want us to fire Drew. We can fire Drew right now. I mean, it's if the chat. Look, Dave, it's a chatocracy here. If the chat wants us to,
should I run a poll?
Yeah.
Anyways, so we get to the second period. Now the second period is not one that was particularly kind to the Jets. Although the Jets still, Ezzy, were the leaders in the faceoff dot, but they get outshot heavily in this. So they get outshot 16-10 in the first, but in the second, 13-5, and most importantly, they give up 2 goals. Now the first Wild goal was as unusual a goal as you are going to see for a couple of reasons. Number one, none of us saw it because they're showing it on the broadcast. Presumably you're watching the TSN broadcast, but they're showing it on the broadcast, and then nobody really knows what happened. It seems like, based on the way Dan and Kevin are talking about it, it's not a goal. It seemed like the Wild were going to challenge, but then all of a sudden they go to a commercial, and they come back from the commercial, and I jokingly said on Twitter, I'm like, did you just yada past a goal or a no goal? Nobody knows what.
But I think you just yada over something too. Before they went to commercial break, remember they showed Kaprizov go to the bench and celebrate like he was.
No. I know, but I'm just going to say, like, so that I was trying to lead up to it here. I was going to say,
I think you just double yada.
I might have double yada, but the point I'm making is that, so you're right, they showed that, but at the same time, Kevin and Dan, I'm not blaming them, but they cut away, and all of a sudden you're like, what just happened? And then they come back and you're like, okay, there's a goal. And they don't show the goal, and yet, oh, Drew, and your little jazz hands. Are you wired in right now, Drew? What's going on here? Tell us.
Give us some jazz hands, Drew.
Talk to us.
I think I would probably sell a kidney if one of the internet companies that service our great province had the least bit of commitment to reliability.
Ooh.
That's what I think I would sell a kidney for that. So if
Drew sounds like he's going to be setting up a tower in his backyard to ensure consistency.
I don't know, Dave. My internet here in St. James is pretty crispy.
Yeah, it's working over here too.
I'm happy for both. I truly am happy for both of you. I really am.
Probably you should be. Drew, you should be happy because otherwise the show would be nothing.
Exactly. So I'm happy for both of you. For me, for whatever reason, that if there's a drop of water, if there's a drop of rain anywhere within a 60-mile radius of my house, everything fries. So, good job, local internet company.
Old man yells at cloud.
Well, honest to goodness. I hope that they keep their monopoly because they really do a great job for the customers, really focused on that customer service. I think we should have less competition.
Here we go. This is going to be an all-time rant.
This is a cold, hard rant, I think, Dave.
No, it's not. I'm not getting into it.
Wait, is it a cold, hard rant, Ezzy, or is Drew being hoisted by his own petard? I'm not really sure.
Both of those are possibilities. I don't know where you guys left off. I
We're
apologize
right now
if
on the. That's okay. We're on the
Well,
Kaprizov goal.
we considered firing you, Drew, and then we
Ah,
decided
please.
that's probably not the best idea.
No, you can fire me all you want. Honestly, I deserve it based on the late, as unreliable as my connections have been as of late. So,
Okay, so we just got we actually even didn't get through because Ezzy and I were quibbling over the yada yada nature of the first Wild goal.
They
Where
definitely yada yada the goal. I would agree
Yes.
with that assessment.
but
There's no
as he
question
said,
about
they did keep it on long enough to see Kaprizov celebrating, which was the confusing part because the way Dan and Kevin were talking, it was like, okay, that's not a goal, and it
Right.
stayed out. Then Kaprizov celebrated, cut to commercial. We come back from commercial, and it's a goal. It's a goal they've just done the face-off.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was like, what just happened? In any event, it was 2-1 at that point in time.
And he just picks right back up. That's the way.
Look,
that's
I'm
the
a
professional host,
professional.
folks.
Exactly. I'm a professional. I just work. I get the rage out of my system, and then I get back into getting back on track as bringing the show back on the rails.
Well,
until
remember
then
what-
we derail it on purpose a little bit later on.
Well, people
enough.
don't know this, but the original title of this show wasn't going to be the Illegal Curve Hockey Show. It was going to be Rage Against the Mindell.
That's a good one, Ezzy. The Wild tie it up 7 minutes and 9 seconds later. Again, another weird one. Brock Faber, his first of the season, assist to Marco Rossi and Vinny Hinostroza, pardon me, I misspoke there. This is not one that Neil Pionk is going to like the looks of. It's just a flub. He just absolutely flubs it, and then it gets onto the stick of Faber, and he fires it over the net from point blank range, but it ricochets shades of the Jets in the playoffs in Vancouver. If you remember that playoff game in Jets 1.0, that was an overtime winner, mind you. It goes off the glass behind the net, back over the net, and then Connor Hellebuyck, in an effort to get back into position, really, I guess in this instance, he propelled the puck into his own net, tying the game up at 2 with about 6.5 minutes or so to go in the second period. Another weird goal. This one just a really fortunate bounce for the Wild, unfortunate bounce for Connor Hellebuyck in his effort to get back into position.
Yeah, and I mean, it just goes back to what we were saying before. Like, this period was dominated by the Wild.
Yeah.
And you just got the feeling that the Wild were going to tie this game up. And yeah, like, there's some pressure in the Jet zone. Obviously, Marco Rossi, I think, is having a very underrated start to the season. And then Hellebuyck comes out to stop the original shot, and then puts it into his own net. Right, like just weird. Yeah. Like, there's no other way to describe it. You just don't see Hellebuyck do things like that, right? Like, I don't know, Dave, if and I'm sure, even though they got the win and Hellebuyck at the end of the day wants wins, I'm not sure how he would play that differently. Maybe he was just a little bit too scrambled. I think what he was trying to do was cover it up, obviously, right? But just wasn't able to do that. So, yeah, just a weird goal. But again, all the goals tonight, aside from the overtime winner, were ugly, right? Like, that's just the type of game it was. As Paul Maurice used to call it, this was just a grinder of a game.
It certainly was a grinder. I mean, like I said, Neil Pionk, it's just a flub. It's just, an unfortunate result of a play. I mean, he flubs it. It's bad enough that Faber gets the point blank chance. And then for the fact that Faber gets sort of the second opportunity after he misses on the point blank chance, sort of just tells you what kind of weird night was taking place in St. Paul, Minnesota, Dave.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. It like I said, it was just a curious case of bizarre bounces. It sums up the night. And the Jets, remember, this is also a situation of being positionally sound, and that is one of the things that you could say that, like, there was too much chaos, I would say, in the Jets game, and not enough sound structure. And I think that's. I don't think
you've seen that sound structure very much this season, which is unlike them.
No, I mean, and three players, like, it's hard because you can't minimize the impact of a guy like Adam Lowry, who plays as much as he does. You cannot minimize, although Dylan Sandberg, I realized, Logan Stanley guys, because Dylan Sandberg, I think, has played 216 NHL games. Logan Stanley's played 212. They're only separated by about 9 points, says he. So is Dylan Sandberg and Logan Stanley kind of the same? Just saying, at least from a points perspective.
No, but your point is well taken, though, Dave. Like, these are and Garrett Hole wrote about this in his 5-hole newsletter. Like, these are three of the best even strength players on the team.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not, it's not like the Jets are just missing these guys on the PK or they're just missing them on the power play. Obviously, we expect Cole Perfetti to take his spot on the top power play unit, right? Like I think you guys wouldn't disagree with that, and most people in the chat aren't going to disagree with that. Perfetti's going to add the most at 5-on-5 in terms of the forward group, but Lowry can't be diminished, and that's why to Dave's point, I think you run with Morgan, Barron, Niederreiter, and Nyquist. I think Barron has earned his spot up the lineup, playing on that third line, and even though that line wasn't fantastic tonight, I think Taves, Nemestikov, and IFL certainly were decent in the first period. Maybe they disappeared a little bit in the second period. But I'd like to see these lines stay together for a little bit here, because as we talked about, we don't necessarily know that Adam Lowry's coming back for that Saturday game against Pittsburgh. That's the game we were kind of targeting. Of course, he's practicing in a regular jersey, so his return is imminent. But I'd certainly I don't know what you guys think, but I'd certainly like to see this line stick together for the game against Chicago.
Well, it's an off day for the Jets tomorrow, so we can give you an update on the schedule. It's an off day for the Jets tomorrow. So Thursday they'll have the morning skate against the Chicago Blackhawks. By the way, the Blackhawks put 7 goals up on the Ottawa Senators. So the Blackhawks are playing better hockey than the garbage hockey they've played for the last number of years. So that'll be a more interesting contest come Thursday night when they visit Winnipeg. Connor Bedard, his first career hat trick earlier tonight. That game.
That's crazy, by the way.
That's his first career hat trick.
Yeah, that seems nuts. That seems crazy that he's only had one hat trick.
Well,
Dave, don't forget that he's only 21 years old.
No. Believe me, I understand that, but this is his third season, right? So I mean,
so he's actually 20 years old.
Yeah.
Is it his third season or his second?
It's his
season?
third season.
Yeah, it's his third season.
But he started off as an 18-year-old, right? So
no. But I'm just saying, like, it just given his level of talent, it's a surprising stat.
I just thought it was funny last year when people were saying Macklin Celebrini is better than Connor Bedard, which could be true, by the way.
I think it's true. At least right now it is.
Which could be true, but like he had 67 points in 82 games last year on an awful team. Like all I'm trying to say is, as a 19-year-old to put up 67 points, 98% of, by the way, like how he used 98% of players that age, that would be a phenomenal year to score 67 points. But for Connor Bedard,
hang on, did you say 67?
Yes.
6-7.
Oh my God. That can end anytime soon.
Yeah,
it's just so stupid. It doesn't mean anything, and then it's supposed to be funny. I'm going to go on a bit of a parent rant here, Drew. My kids say that too, and I like, and my kids are 6 and 7, so now they think that it's cool. Like, my kids are 6 and 7, but like, it's
what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah, you don't have it.
No, but I honestly don't even know. The funny part is, I saw it. There's a certain level of like,
it's a meme, Dave. It's
no, I understand because I'm not joking. Well, no, because the first time I saw it, I think I saw Friedman tweet something about it, and I was like, "Is he talking about Logan Stanley?" Like, I'm not really sure what's going on. So, to be honest with you, Drew, I don't really care enough for you to actually have to explain it to me.
Okay,
I'm going to be honest.
I can't do a good explanation for it either, aside from the fact that it's a stupid kid thing that they are all doing, and I just jumped on the bandwagon there. Well, as you said, 67 points for Connor Bedard. Anyways, the Blackhawks are up 7-3 on the Ottawa Senators. They'll be in town on Thursday to face the Jets. So what we were saying about Adam Lowry, the Jets are off tomorrow. It'll be a game day skate on Thursday. They will have a full practice. At least they have a full practice scheduled on Friday. So, if you want that full practice before you return them to the lineup, that maybe shapes up. Dave's shaking his head. Dave thinks there's going to be.
I don't buy it.
Based longer, it's going to be more, maybe even a conditioning. The way stint or something.
Like, it again, Scott O'Neill likes to keep this stuff to himself, and I get it, but just the way he spoke yesterday and what he said, let me just pull it up so I can have it so I don't misquote him, but it didn't come across as a guy who was talking about Lowry as if he was a player for soon. He essentially said something to the effect of, we're going to keep that as an option. And again, my thought would be, he's mentioned it a couple times now, where it's kind of been like, that's kind of he said, listening back, this is what I wrote, listening back to Jets coach Scott O'Neill's comments from today, and I wonder if the discussion with management and Adam Lowry are about a potential AHL conditioning assignment with the Moose. Because why do you have to talk to them? Why do you have to talk to Lowry? If the plan is for Lowry to get into practice on Friday and get ready for the Pittsburgh game, or even if he doesn't play the Pittsburgh game, get ready to go on the West Coast with the team, there's really not a discussion you need to have with him. So discussion really, as he is, he's obviously going to agree to go. And the conditioning assignment, the good thing is because he's on long-term IR, he doesn't count as a roster player. So you don't have to make any roster moves if they do send him, because normally on a conditioning assignment, you still have to have a roster spot for the player, right? But in this instance, because he's LTIR, there's no requirement in that regard. I think it's like, I can't remember I have it written down what CBA rule it is, but I don't know that folks are particularly interested in that. And then you can essentially send him down.
Not on LTIR, he's just on IR.
He's on IR, but I think it's because he didn't start, not LTIR, sorry. I meant because he's on IR, non-roster IR, because he didn't start the season with the Jets. That's what I meant, sorry. So because he's non-roster IR, he's not on
Lloyd, the intern reserve?
No. So he doesn't require a spot in order to be sent on a conditioning assignment, which is good because it punts their requirement to make any decisions. And then I think it's 6 days or 3 games. So my guess would be that the Moose practice on Saturday. So he could have a practice with the Jets on Friday. He could have a practice with the Moose on Saturday. He could play for the Moose on Sunday. He could play for the Moose on Monday. Should be almost 10 years since his last game in Antlers. And then he would get a chance to, I would imagine, join the Jets. They go to LA for the first trip, right? I think it's on Wednesday. Is that the first game, Drew? Wednesday? That seems late, actually.
No, I think
probably
the
not
first
Wednesday.
Game's Monday, is it not?
Monday. Monday.
So
So
next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I think that would be my guess, is that he does that. But again, like I said, that's just conjecture.
Tuesday in LA. You're right. It was Tuesday. It's Tuesday, Friday after. So it's the quiet week next week in terms of the actual games. Tuesday, Friday. Then it's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So
yeah, and just to be clear, Doug. Yeah, I know he has to agree to it, but I suspect if the team is going to ask him to do it, that he'll agree to do it.
They're going to poison the relationship with Adam Lowry after all these years.
And my other speculation, Nation, Ezzy, just to finish my whole twirl through things I'm thinking about.
Oh boy.
My guess will be, once he is announced to be coming back, that they're going to announce an extension for the captain.
You think it's happening simultaneous?
I think so. My guess, I have no insight on that one, but I think my guess would be that they're going to announce a new contract for him before he starts playing for the Jets.
Okay, let's get back to tonight's game. There's Dave M with no insight at all. Marcus for the Minnesota Wild gives the Wild the lead. It's a power play goal. It's another weird one. His 5th of the year, 3 minutes and 48 seconds into the third period. His 5th of the year, assist to Brock Faber and Marco Rossi. Again, it's another one. This one goes in off Luke Shen. It's a goal mouth scramble, as the old expression goes, Ezzy. It's traffic in front. Connor Hellebuck makes the initial save, and then it just sort of pinballs off of Luke Shen, who's, again, this compounds the struggles that he's been having. And all of a sudden, the Minnesota Wild, after giving up the first 2, score the next 3, and they have a 3-2 lead on the Jets with about 16 minutes to go in the third period.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Luke Shen is doing on this goal. Like, I just don't really, is he trying to just maybe redirect the puck back to Hellebuck for him to cover it up? I don't know. But, yeah, again, it's another goal that's a puck. Yeah, exactly. Another puck that's just put on net. And, give the Wild credit, give the Jets credit. That was the strategy tonight. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's an unfortunate power play goal. And, I didn't think that this would, Tanner Pearson's 2 minutes for tripping Ryan Hartman penalty, that was a penalty. The the slash before that, the Logan Stanley slash on Vladimir Tarasenko. Again, I had an issue with this slash. I also had an issue with the second period Alex Iafallo slash. I hate the fact that if a guy's stick breaks, that's an automatic penalty. You could even see, sorry, I'm going backwards here to the second period, Drew, but you could even see Alex Iafallo shaking his head and laughing in the penalty box. Because he's like, these sticks break. It doesn't take a hard slash for these sticks to break. That's what I'm saying.
Ezzy, what about the Dylan DeMello phantom high stick that was
high
really
on Matt Boldy?
That's what I'm saying. It was just honestly, this was like a bizarro game. And Drew's right. We've seen some wild, pun intended, Jets wild games. Mm-hmm. But this game was just all the goals were bouncing off of Hellebuck or bouncing off of Shen. Going off of sticks, going off of heads. We didn't know it was a goal going into the commercial break when it came to Kaprizov's goal. Just overall, just weird. Ugliness, muckiness, as Drew said earlier. But again, you give the Wild enough power play opportunities. That's one thing with the Wild. They have a very, very good power play.
They do, and they did a good job staying out of the box, so the Jets themselves didn't have really anything of an extended power play opportunity. I believe the Jets' power play opportunity was for all of 12 seconds in tonight's game, which in my mind doesn't actually count as a real power play. I think the NHL should actually revisit that a power play
I agree.
has to last so many seconds.
Yeah, I know, it's dumb.
Actually count in your stats.
Like I would say what, Drew, maybe 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
This one was 22 seconds. I would say 30, 40.
30 is the minimum.
Yeah,
It's got to be at least half a minute.
Yeah, you have to have time to at least establish the zone and set it up.
I agree with you. I always hate that, Drew.
To me, it makes you feel a little sour as a person.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
I don't blame you. You're talking about agreeing with me, or are you talking about the rule in general?
Both, actually.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Nino Niederreiter ties it up for the Jets at the 11:35 mark of the third period. So with just over 8 minutes to go in the game, it's still Niederreiter's goal. We're not sure if it's Niederreiter's. We're not sure if it's Nyquist's. Doesn't matter. It's a beautiful goal for the Winnipeg Jets from the Jets' perspective. Morgan Barron also getting an assist on this one. And again, it starts in the Jets zone. It's a clean breakout. Barron goes up to Nyquist. Nyquist gains the line. And then, a fortuitous bounce, I would argue, off of Barron's skate back to Nyquist. And then it gets put in front of Gustafsson and in front of the Wild's net. And either Nyquist knocks it in or Niederreiter knocks it in. Depends on who you believe. But in any event, it's credited to Niederreiter, and the Jets tied the game up at this point in time. A real good clean zone entry. The Jets didn't have a lot of clean zone entries in tonight's game. It starts with a Logan Stanley breakout pass to Morgan Barron, and then the rest is history as the Jets tie it up later in the back half of the third period.
Yeah, what stands out to me is Barron definitely makes a nifty little play, because I think it was Hinostroza, if I'm not mistaken.
Terrible play by him. Yeah, it was Hinostroza.
Hinostroza comes at Barron with speed, and Barron makes a nice little pass to Nyquist. But Nyquist, to me, it's just a good second effort, right? Like he has the puck in the Wild zone, kind of loses it a little bit, tries to center it, and then just continues, goes after it, goes to the net, and like we said,
follows the play. Exactly.
Niederreiter was there, so he also gets a stick on it. They eventually give it to Nyquist because he had the original shot. But it goes back to what I said before. I didn't think this line was super effective tonight. Talking about the Barron, Nyquist, Niederreiter line. Like, I'm not saying that they were necessarily bad. I just don't think they created a ton of 5-on-5 offense. So again, kind of fit the game, right? Like it kind of was fitting. And again, I got to give a shout out to my boy Nino Niederreiter. Like, he continues to have a really strong start to the season. Like, again, There been some games where, like, Niederreiter wasn't great. Last game against Utah, I don't know how many Jets you could say were great against Utah, to be honest with you.
Morgan Barron.
Yeah, Morgan Barron. And Morgan Barron, and that goes back to what we said. Again, we might sound like a broken record, but if anybody listens to IC, they know we're big fans of Morgan Barron's game, and he was good again tonight, good on the PK. But again, I thought it was nice for this line to get rewarded because they didn't necessarily have a particularly effective game.
The Jets then kill off a late third period power play opportunity. This is with Tanner Pearson in the box for tripping Ryan Hartman. The Jets do a very good job. Alex Iafallo in particular had a couple of plays in the third period, defensive zone plays, where he just killed what looked like opportunities for the Minnesota Wild. It looked like they were going to be potentially dangerous opportunities. And Alex Iafallo always in the right place at the right time for the Winnipeg Jets. Just another one of those very headsy, pardon the pun, Winnipeg Jets players. So headsy, in fact, that he is our heads up Wheatland Hockey heads up player of the game for his defensive awareness and for his intelligent play on the ice. Wheatland Hockey is doing a great job in developing skills for your child on and as well as off the ice. They'll improve, make your child a more well-rounded player on the ice, and they'll make them a better player off the ice. They have the focus where it needs to be. Good heads on their shoulder on the ice, good heads on their shoulders off the ice. That's our friends at Wheatland Hockey. Big thanks to them for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Check them out online, wheatlandhockey.ca. But I did want to mention those plays by Alex Iafallo. He just always seems to be, he's just a smart hockey player. Yep. That's how he's carved out a career for himself as an undrafted player, kind of guy that everybody on every team wants to have. And you saw it on a number of those opportunities late in the third period where it looked like it could be dangerous for the Winnipeg Jets, and Alex Iafallo to the rescue to snuff it out before it became anything more than just a simple zone entry for the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot on the Saturday show when we were talking about even strength offense and the Jets' lack of, but I think you might have something here even when Adam Lowry comes back into the lineup, Dave, because I think you'd agree it's logical to think that when Lowry comes back, he's going to play with Niederreiter and Nyquist. I think we'd agree with that, or at the very least, Niederreiter is going to be one of his wingers, right?
Yeah.
So I think when Lowry comes back, the Taves, Nemestikov, Iafallo line, like I realize Nemestikov plays center, but I think, he can be just as effective on the wing. I thought he was very noticeable in the first period, just hanging onto pucks, kind of creating some offense. But I agree with you. I think Iafallo has been the staple on that line with Taves, and his work didn't go unnoticed tonight. That's for sure.
I would agree with that. No damage for the remainder of the third period. Both teams get the 1 point and hand it to the overtime period to decide the bonus point. Minnesota starts with the puck to begin the overtime period, and really you have to credit Mark Scheifele here.
Yep.
Mark Scheifele does a tremendous job hounding Kirill Kaprizov for a great deal of the shift. The Wild had possession, and Mark Scheifele is in Kirill Kaprizov's back pocket. He is attached to him like white on rice.
He's in his grill, Drew. Like that one?
Say that again?
He's in his grill.
He's in his grill. There you go. Holt Dental. There you go, Rezi. You're right about that. And he forces the turnover. He is the one who is responsible for, I think, Kirill Kaprizov he got a little bit frustrated with how well Scheifele was playing him. A careless turnover. Josh Morrissey takes the puck, gains the blue line, over to Scheifele, back to Kyle Connor, right at the, inside the face-off circle, and he makes no mistake, sniping it past Gustafsson. Did the Jets deserve it? Maybe, maybe not, but the only way it matters in the end is that the Jets do end up with the 4-3 victory. Kudos to Mark Scheifele, kudos to Kyle Connor for his 5th of the year, and of course Josh Morrissey getting the secondary assist on this one, Dave. But it's just the kind of play that's going to put Mark Scheifele on Team Canada. It's going to allay any concerns about his defensive responsibility, because he does this against one of the top 5 players in the league in Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, and you don't if you're a Jets fan, you love the way the Wild played that, but for them to both back off of Kyle Connor and kind of pay attention to Josh Morrissey,
that's what I was thinking. Like, what is Joel Eriksson-Ek doing here?
Very bizarre. Like to back up the way they did and to give them
Connor's not known as a goal scorer.
Yeah, to give a guy like that who has that kind of shot, that kind of time and space, insane. You just can't do it in overtime. When those guys get the puck, I'm not saying I did say it was automatic, and they are pretty automatic, when you give them that kind of opportunity. And no surprise, Kyle Connor, 61st game-winning goal, tying the all-time record holder, Mark Scheifele, who passed it to him. So both guys sitting with 61 on the all-time game-winning goals.
Dave always have some type of record stat for Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele after every single game.
He's got a lot of time on his hands, He's got a lot of time on his hands. So
true.
No, I guess these guys are just always setting records, I guess, is the answer, right, Dave?
Yeah, that was kind of the answer. That'd be the nice answer. Drew gave more of the jerk answer, but that's fine. That's what we do here.
That was a bit of a jerk answer.
You wouldn't expect it any other way. That's the Jets' victory. It's a 4-3 victory for the Winnipeg Jets. They take it in St. Paul tonight, winners of 9 in a row versus the Minnesota Wild. They head home for an off day tomorrow before they welcome another Central Division rival, the Chicago Blackhawks, into town on Thursday night. Before we go to break here on the Illegal Curve post-game show, there is big news afoot.
It's true. The Moose are winning 1-0 and out-shooting Tucson 44-24. I'm glad you recognize that, Drew.
That is exactly
Samuel Fogamo. Second goal for the Moose, but it was an all-Swedish goal. But I'll talk about that after the break.
Shout out to my cousins Mika and Aaron, who live in Tucson, by the way.
I thought you were going to say live in Sweden now. I'm like, I didn't realize they live there now.
No, Tucson.
The big news is this, which is on my screen here. I don't know if you can totally see it. You can sort of see it. Maybe I can even
expand your screen.
I can, enlarge the screen a little bit. This is the new Illegal Curve merchandise.
Ooh.
That's right. Ooh is correct, Dave Minuk. The new Illegal Curve merchandise I can make it even bigger here. Let's get it. There you go. You got, you can see a couple
Sure,
of
that's
the
what you
nice
tell all the girls,
t-shirts
Drew.
there. What the t-shirts, generally for the men. The one that's sort of gray, the one for the white there is for the
Well, there's
ladies.
lots of Drew. There's lots of different colors. It's not
I
just
was going to say that there's different
Okay.
colors and everything
Okay.
else. So this
And
is
men can buy the women's shirts for their loved ones or
It's
significant
an-
others.
We're
Yep.
equal opportunity here. We don't care what you buy as long as you buy. That's basically what it boils down to. The new Illegal Curve merchandise is now available. Let me scroll down. Oh, how about that? Maybe you want a little bit of a hoodie, a pull-over hoodie. Maybe sweatpants are the name of your game, Ginsburg. We know that.
I've been asking for the Legal Curve sweatpants, Dave, for how long now?
Yeah, I'm
long
concerned
time.
about your propensity to wear sweatpants out in public. We might need to have
True.
an intervention on that front.
Love
but,
my sweaties.
We know you do. It's maybe now you can buy ones that aren't stained. So that's something that's you can look forward to. These new Illegal Curve sweatpants and a hoodie. This is some other nicer. This is a French Terry pullover and a French Terry performance.
a lot of tone on tone, Drew. A lot of tone
A lot
on
of tone
tone.
on tone. Just in case you were wondering, there are a multitude of colors. So if
Yes.
you want something that isn't gray, or there are other colors available, just have to click on the
There's
link.
blue. There's black. There might even be a
Yes.
green.
There's going to be a green. Is that what you said?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, okay. I mean, interesting. So all of this,
And more importantly, Drew, we should also mention
yes.
limited edition New Era hats. So we've
Well,
got
I
some.
can get to that. I haven't finished all the clothing before I get to the
Fair
hat.
enough. Fair
Because we're
enough,
doing
absolutely.
merchandise first, then we'll do headwear next.
Okay.
So
go
we got
ahead.
more. Here's some performance jogger. Ezzy, in case you want to take up jogging, now you have the pants necessary to take up jogging with. So there's something that you can look forward to as well. All this great new.
That's,
Illegal
by the way,
Curve
very similar.
merchandise.
That last one, Drew, that you're showing was the one I was wearing on the show yesterday. Very
There you go.
comfortable.
Very comfortable. Dave approves. Dave loves to be. He's wearing velour. He's wearing his velvet all the time.
I'm wearing a
Illegal
legal curve. Come on. Come on. Let's be realistic.
What are we being realistic about?
I said I'm wearing a legal curve. I always wear a legal curve.
I know.
Come on.
Here's the hat. Here's the hats that we were talking about. This is a limited edition, new era hat over here where my cursor is.
Yep.
Currently available, limited edition, only a few available. So get those before they are gone, as the expression goes. And then, of course, the very trendy, on point, if you will. These are the Illegal Curve rope hats along this one with the big C. So a lot of great new Illegal Curve merchandise presently available.
We're gonna have a model. We're gonna have someone model right now. 1 second.
Right now. Okay, there you go. He's switching his hats. He's wearing the new Illegal Curve hat right there. Mr. Ginsburg is. So
Looks good.
that looks sharp. It's very sharp. All of this Illegal Curve merchandise made in Manitoba, locally made, locally produced, available. Click the link on illegalcurve.com. Go to the merchandise page. All of this is currently available.
I'll put a link. I'll put a link in the chat right now. So
And we should also mention, Drew, 33.3% of the funds are going to go to the Ginsburg Foundation.
Excellent. A very worthwhile cause, keeping Ezzy in sweatpants since 2008, the Ginsburg Foundation. Get your orders in by November 17th. So that's about 3 weeks from now. And you'll be sure to have your merchandise before the holiday season.
Correct.
So for your Illegal Curve fan in your family, for yourself as an Illegal Curve fan, for somebody who just wants some very comfy sweatpants, check it out. All available online, illegalcurve.com. And if you don't think that we're going to be obnoxious and shilling this merchandise over the next few weeks, well, you haven't been paying close enough attention to this show for all these years.
And for right now, you can have the two options. You can pick it up locally because, as Drew said, this is a local producer who's making our merch for us. So they'll be able to pick it up. It's outstanding branding. They're in the Inkster Industrial Park. So it's easy enough to get to. And if you need it to be delivered because you don't live in Manitoba or in Winnipeg, then that can be done as well. And you can just set that on the when you're doing your ordering. And we even had a request if we do international orders. I'm fairly certain we do, but I'm just going to confirm that because our good friend, this is going back all the way to 2011, boys, Allie K.
Wow, our good friend Allie K from Phoenix.
Allie K, yeah, appropriate given that the fact that while you guys are talking, I'm watching the Moose and Roadrunners in Tucson, but Allie K, who is in Arizona as well, one of the original, she was a big fan of our show. She flew down and she actually got tickets for the Jets home opener against Montreal. Stood in line, flew here. She was just happy to hang out, be part of the atmosphere, and then she ended up getting a ticket, which was incredible. Just standing in will call, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And we said, well, maybe you can get a ticket that way. And somehow she did get one, so she was in the building and she was interested if she could get some merch. So big thanks to Ali K for reaching out, and big thanks to everyone who chooses to support Illegal Curve and wear it as a brand. Looking forward to seeing you.
There you go. Illegal Curve merchandise available on the website. The link is in the chat as well. IllegalCurve.com. Just click on the merchandise tab, and you too can look as handsome as the three of us regularly do. Much more on the Jets' victory over the Minnesota Wild when we come back. It is, I think it's Tuesday night. I'm very
Moose
confused.
up to 50 shots, by the way.
There you go, 50
I
shots.
don't know.
for Moose.
I can't remember the last time the Moose ever had 50 shots, and there's still 3 minutes to go in the game. I'm going to text Finker right now. and ask
Actually,
him.
January 20th, 2018 versus Norfolk.
They're playing.
Oh, as you were so close.
so
then you
close.
said Norfolk.
Norfolk. It's
As
a different league. That's the Jets farm team in the ECHL. So close.
They used to be in the AHL.
but I don't think
a lot longer before that.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I think it was longer than that.
Damn it.
Yeah, it was good effort though. It was a good.
It was
effort.
nice. I give you credit on that one.
Yeah. Anyways, much more to come. It's the Illegal Curve post game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg. Don't go anywhere.
I want to thank you for not betting with Play Now and choosing our illegal gambling site instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
Do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime. Visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre.
Boys, I've made an important life decision, and I need your support.
Oh boy.
I've decided to get a grill.
You mean a barbecue grill for cooking? Like that's not an important life decision, Ezzy.
No. A grill for my teeth.
A grill for your teeth. Do I even want to know why you're doing this?
It's simple, really. Every time I go to Holt Dental, I get treated so very well by Dr. John and his team that I need to keep finding additional reasons to go back. I rely on Holt Dental for all of my dental needs, and they do it all, from regular cleanings to cosmetic dentistry. Plus, they have free parking at their front door, and you know how much I love my convenient parking.
For all your dental needs, Illegal Curve recommends Holt Dental, conveniently located on Taylor Avenue near Grant Park Mall. For more information, visit them online at holtdental.ca.
For over 40 years, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has been Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy. Renowned in the comedy world as a must-play venue, Rumors has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers, wedding socials, and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase show tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
At Boston Pizza, a fast lunch doesn't have to mean fast food. Now you can get a $15 lunch served in just 20 minutes, including your choice of a main, side, and drink. That's right, lunch for $15 at your local Boston Pizza.
Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show, brought to you by Play Now. What are you doing, Dave? You're listening to the end of the Moose game? Watching the end of the Moose game?
We're listening to Daniel Fink.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Manouk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Jared Anderson Dolan ices it. The Moose outshoot the Roadrunners 51-26.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, sorry. I'll mute myself.
That's okay. The Moose won, I'm going to guess 2-0. Was that the final?
Well, it's not over yet, but it's about to be. Danny Zhilkin, by the way, for Frosty, if he's still in the chat, missed. He had the empty net and he got taken down to his knees. Tried to put it into the empty net, didn't get a chance to do so, and Tucson turned around, looked like they were going to score, they didn't, and then Jared Anderson-Dolan buries it. So Moose, big win, end the losing streak, and get back to their winning ways. Rematch tomorrow in Tucson. I feel bad for the Moose, though, of all the times for them to go to Tucson, Ezzy. Going in October is not quite as good as it would be if they were going in, let's say, January or February.
Yeah, you said that on the last game, on the last post-game show. You're just reusing your material now. I think you gotta get some new material. That's what I would say to that. You use that exact same line on Sunday's post-game show.
We've lost Dave. Like, he's fully immersed in this Moose game right now. I can just see his like his little eyes and his little fingers moving to tweet out about the little scores and his little clips and his little videos.
Well, who's going to give us a Kieran Walton update then? If it's not for Dave, if he's too busy watching them at the end of the Moose game, I'm confused as to what's going to happen for the remainder of this post-game show. It's all very confusing.
And the Moose are finally going to come home, Dave. Like, this has been a long road trip. Like, I realized they came back to Winnipeg and practiced, but it's going to be nice for them to have a little home cooking.
Well, they need to get some goals and to get some wins in the win column. I believe, is this just their second win of the year? This is their. Yes, you're saying this is their second win. You can talk. No, you can talk. You do have a microphone that can be unmuted if you so choose. But that's okay. For the people on the podcast who can't actually see you holding up two fingers, that would be.
All right, helpful. I've turned the Moose game off. I'm back to focusing on this post game show. But let me tell you about the Moose game that I just watched. Hey, it wasn't easy tonight watching Jays, Jets, and Moose, but somehow we got it done. Speaking of Kieran Walton, I think I heard you mentioned the 2024 six-rounder who was just named as the OHL Player of the Week. Jets prospect, remember, had a concussion in training camp, so he was a little slow to his start, but a big 5-point night for the Sudbury. Somehow, by the way, he had a 5-point night and only got named third star of the game. But 2 goals, 3 assists, and his best friend Kevin He for Niagara, as he had his first hat trick of the season. So nice. Those OHL prospects are getting it done, or at least they were when Drew and I were doing the last show. But we were trying to focus on the Jays, the Blue, the Moose, the this, the that, the this, the that. There's only so much we could do. But that's why you always have to check.
At least on Thursday, it's an off day. There's no baseball game on Thursday, so we can have our and do the Moose play on Thursday?
Moose do not play on Thursday. No, they're off.
So
Thursday,
our
Friday.
focus.
Although there's a huge. By the way, the other thing also, there's a huge brawl, so I'm gonna have to watch that too.
Okay, well, in that case,
I bet our boy Ty Bauer's involved in that one.
No, he's scratched. He was out today. It was only. Yeah. Well, I think he might be trying an illegal curve sandwich right now. Is probably what he's doing.
Did they left him in Winnipeg for that? They didn't even bring him to Tucson?
I'm joking. No, he played in Chicago. I'm kidding. This show's really off the rails, by the way.
Off the rails. Alrighty, let's wrap it up. The Jets are next in action on Thursday against the Chicago Blackhawks. That'll be
that's a big game, by the way. Johnny Taves first time against his old team, has he? So,
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a big. I know Mark Lazarus of The Athletic wrote about it, which you can read in today's afternoon links. But kind of crazy. I know he's not going back till January, I think, in Chicago. But pretty cool that he's playing his old team for the first time in his career. You got to imagine he's going to get amped up about that.
And the Blackhawks are playing decent hockey, 5-3-2 through their first 10 games of the season. They got, they're scoring as much as the Jets are, and they're only giving up a goal more than the Jets are. So, again, it'll be an interesting, the Jets need to bring their A game against the Chicago Blackhawks on Thursday night. This isn't the walkover Blackhawks that they have been.
I think their B+ game will probably get it done, Drew.
Well, maybe it will.
I was joking.
Okay. Well, what's the terrible joke? I mean, you're off. You're rusty. You're shaky. Your humor is not. You're not funny. You used to be funny. Not funny anymore.
It's true. What am I? If I'm not funny, what am I, Drew? I'm having an identity crisis.
Yeah, you're just a solid. You're a solid good guy, is what you are. Little dull, not funny, but solid good guy nonetheless.
A little pedantic.
Yeah, most of the show is pedantic, that's for sure. Big thanks to all of you for joining us on this pedantic broadcast. We appreciate you. We'll next be in action on Thursday with the Illegal Curve post-game show following the Jets and the Blackhawks. Big thank you to all of our sponsors of the Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. That's our friends at Play Now. They're the title sponsor. Holt Dental, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, City Place, Wheatland Hockey, Boston Pizza, and of course, soon to be debuted with the commercial, Label Daddy, Label Daddy, a new sponsor here on Illegal Curve. So you'll be hearing a lot about our good friends at Label Daddy. Support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve hockey. Jets are victorious 4-3 in overtime. Moose are victorious 2-0. Dave is as excited as could be. Plenty of post-game coverage to come on illegalcurve.com, so you can be sure to check that out. For Dave Manouk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm Technical Difficulties, Drew Mindell. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Until Thursday night, we wish you good night and good luck. Thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.